The band understand the death metal fan. You know, they know the exact thing that we would all want, you know, in the artwork, in the lyrics, in the riffs, all this sort of stuff. Hi there guys, welcome back, and hello if you are new. I don't know if you can see, but I've literally just had a shower, and it's because of all the blood and guts from this week's album review. So that should be a pretty big hint as to what I'm going to be talking about today. They are no other than Celestial Sanctuary, and I'm going to be talking about their album Insatiable Thirst for Torment. So, following the release of 2021's Soul Diminished, Celestial Sanctuary have been very much, I think, at the vanguard of this new wave of British death metal. I think they upped the ante in every single way, and the kind of, you know, they sort of toured with a lot of different artists recently, like Undeath, Frozen Soul, Obituary they played shows with, and I really do think there's something special happening here. So I would say a really good way to kind of describe this band is, in terms of the music, it's very much kind of Obituary, bolt thrower kind of vibes. Then you've got Atmosphere, which reminded me a little bit of Morbid Angel, kind of Immolation maybe. And then you've got the lyrics, which are pretty Cannibal Corpse. So kind of the best of lots of different death metal worlds. In terms of themes, the album is loosely based on the idea of kind of greed and how it kind of pervades humanity in pretty much all the different walks of life. But it is actually based on a true story, which was based around this guy in Ecuador who was a governor and was taxing his tribe to no end. They got so fed up of how greedy and mean this guy was that they basically banded together and poured molten silver from all of their belongings and, you know, things like that into his mouth and basically publicly executed him. There's not really much more death metal than you can get. And I think the artwork on this album is absolutely brilliant. It takes you immediately into that world of Celestial Sanctuary. It's really cool. Overall, the feel and kind of like musicality, I think, of this album is kind of flipping between a swirling dervish of limbs and this kind of like lugubrious, almost like funeral doom kind of like big, heavy riffs. Trapped Within the Rank Membrane, for example, is a great way to start the album, and it kind of ends with this sort of like slower, kind of stomping riff. But then the slower side, I think, is seen on Meandering Stream of Foul Fluids. I have to say, Tom, you haven't made this easy for me to remember all the titles. And it's kind of bookended. That song is bookended by these sort of, kind of like that funeral doom thing I was telling you about. You know, it's kind of like, it begins and ends with that, with something crazy in the middle, which I quite liked. Swivel-Eyed and Gurning in the Shadows, once again, a great title. That kind of showcases, I think, how great the drummer is and how important he is in this band to kind of really like get that groove kind of. It's a bit four on the floor at times, which I really like. You know, AC/DC have done that for years, and it always really kind of like locks in, which I really enjoyed. There's also some really great moments on the lurid glow of a burning body. I can't say these without laughing, because they're so death metal and they're so like over the top that it's just great. But yeah, that song is very much kind of centered on the groove, and you know, kind of like propels the overall kind of I would say the most sort of colossal sounding of the album. Where leads are concerned, you know, kind of flips between this sort of dive bomb, you know, Trey Azagthoth kind of guitar soloing to way more atmospheric and kind of like vibey sort of stuff. Where production is concerned, I think, you know, they've got this excellent cavernous, really sort of like moody sound. The guitar tone kind of crunches and chews those riffs, you know, before they're like spat out in the kind of like the bridge sections, or like, you know, the bits where the band essentially speed up. Tom is a really lovely guy, but you wouldn't know it because it sounds like he's literally about to murder you with the way that he's spewing out these vocals. It's really, really cool. And the lyrics as well, particularly, they're pretty heinous. It's definitely got that sort of malevolent, dungeon, labyrinthian kind of feel to it, which I think is exactly what they were going for. Only thing, right, and this is kind of like a good negative, is that I just wanted a little bit more experimentation, I think. You know, the songs are absolutely brilliant, and, you know, they do death metal very, very well, but I feel like there's just even more potential that we're going to see from Celestial Sanctuary. So, you know, considering this is their second album, it is a massive step up from Soul Diminished. But the thing is I believe in them so much that I think we're just seeing kind of the tip of the iceberg here. With Insatiable Thirst for Torment, Celestial Sanctuary have not reinvented the wheel by any means, but they've given it a pretty fucking good spin. And I think that also, you know, the band understand the death metal fan. You know, they know the exact thing that we would all want, you know, in the artwork, in the lyrics, in the riffs, all this sort of stuff. So for that reason, I'm going to give this album an 8 out of 10. So I hope you guys enjoyed this album review. It'd be great if you could hit that like and subscribe button, and if you share this with any friends you think might be into Celestial Sanctuary. Please do leave a comment underneath me. Let me know what you think about the album, video, all that sort of stuff. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. I've got some really cool things coming up, like Dying Fetus video, like an interview. I've got a interview with Swivel, which can be cool. Lots of reviews. I think Silosis is next week, if I remember off the top of my head. But yeah, make sure you tune in, and I will see you guys very, very soon.